moving on to announcements, Fall 2 is currently underway. We don't have an amendment window for Fall 2. So there is just one final deadline. It's February 27th. And I know we have one or two holidays in February, so just be mindful. It is one deadline, one and done. So February 27th. If you look in our user manual, we also have suggested milestones, and Matt is showing you how to get there. Fall 2 roadmap, we have suggested milestones, and for this submission, we're asking that by February 6th, you have 0 fatal errors. And again, that's just so that you have about 2 weeks from the deadline to review any reports. And if for whatever reason you're asked by your admin or key players in your LEA to make revisions, you have enough time to make the updates and then be able to certify in time. Next up is Flash 319. So this flash was sent out on Monday, January 26th, and it is notification is talking about the new CALPADS ID. And it's just talking about the new transition. There's going to be 2 faces. And what you should know from this is that starting March 10th, all users will be required to get a new username and password. The flash has a lot more information and there will be more communication on this, but just heads up, Flash 319 is something that is going to impact everyone. And so you should take a look at this. And now I'm going to pass it on to Angela. We did have a release on Tuesday, so any updates?
Yeah, we did have a release, and it had been a while. I think it had been 3 weeks since we had one. So there's lots of new fixed items on there. So we're all caught up there.
And I didn't mention this, but we do have the regionals in our training in our CISA's website. So in case you haven't already, Matt is showing you how to get there. So from the CISA's website, go to professional learning and you'll be able to sign up for regional meetings.
There's also a Data Governance Academy virtual check-in on February 19th available for registration, and that is individual virtual participation only. The target audience for the virtual check-in is executive leadership, CALPADS administrators, differentiated assistant staff, and data governance professionals. So if you're interested in learning more about data governance, I would also encourage registration for that session. And then we've got sessions for all 4 regions for the March regionals.
I remembered my item.
Oh, good.
My middle-aged brain is slowly clicking along. It's on the fixed issues. I just wanted to call it out here. I also put it on the homepage just because I think it's that important that the EOI 1 and 2 data discrepancies are showing in the data discrepancy dropdown now.
Yes. Excellent. Very excited about that. We don't have any CDE people joining us on this call, right?
Right. They have an all staff with Superintendent Thurman today right now, so nobody from CDE will be joining us.
All right. So bear with us, folks. It's just CSIS. So we may ask that you put in a ticket, but we'll see. We'll try. We'll try our best. We're going to start now with questions, and starting off with Laura's question 1. I have a question from my Director of Curriculum and Instruction. What would be the best college credit course code for dual enrollment counseling 101? We currently have it under 9227 College Credit Course Other, but since it will be excluded from the list of college credit courses used in the CCI, what would be the best course code to use? Rebecca said, I believe 9227 would be appropriate if it is not an academic or CTE course. You may want to reach out to the dashboard. I agree, because we don't do the calculations for CCI. I didn't know that 9227 was not an option for CCI anymore. Is that something I missed?
Oh, I think it's next year in 27. It's not going to be an option.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Laura. So we have I know there's the other list of the college credit courses. I don't know which one would be the most appropriate. And it may, I don't know if it's one of those where we just have to wait for the training and documentation in the 26-27 school year. And Rebecca says it is for the fall of 2027, but the CD wants people to know how to correct it now. Okay. And then Lori's chiming in saying social sciences. Yeah. I don't know that I have a specific course code to give unless someone else has a suggestion.
Only thing I can think of is just look at, Matt had it up a minute ago, just the other college credit courses that are listed there. One that fits with what the description of the course is, or close to one of those.
Yeah.
This one mentions the social sciences.
Hmm. And the other option, if the dashboard folks aren't able to provide an answer, you can always send us a ticket and then we can escalate it to CDE. I'm going to move on to Rochelle from the Thomas Unified. Question 1. Years ago, we were able to upload food handler certs into CALPADS to potentially count towards CCI. Is this option still available? I think it's the work-based learning. Is that where let's see, Rebecca says, the State Board of Education voted to not include this as a measure, but do check out this webpage as it is available for transition work-based experience. Okay. Yeah, that's the only place that I can think of is the wobbler, the work-based learning. I don't know if that's one of the codes though. So we'd have to check.
This is the webpage that Rebecca mentioned in the thread there.
Okay. So if our work-based learning codes, if we don't have a specific code for the food handler, then no, Rochelle, there would be no way to give CALPADS that information. Next is Shelley. Question 1. I know you have covered this before, but I'm having trouble finding info. Why would a student be LTEL in the cumulative enrollment file, but not an LTEL file from CDE? The student has been EL for 13 years. Can you provide links that I can share? I know that we had a flash that talked about the difference there are 2 different calculations in LTEL. There's one for the dashboard, right? Oh.
Yeah, and I sent Matt in the Zoom chat, I sent you a link that's a really good resource for Shelley. But there's 2 different ed codes, basically. Shelley is the why behind it, but that page that I sent Matt
should be up on screen now. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome. It's the assist, the layup assist.
Okay.
If you scroll down a little bit, it breaks it down. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go, that page right there. And then it's got the links to the ed code on it.
So, oh, perfect. I think that helps Shelley. Wonderful. We're going to move on to Autumn now. Question 1 says, good afternoon. I was just curious if there was a video recording of the 11.25 data for students with disabilities in private schools in proportionate share. We are preparing for this, and I know that the guidance for enrollments was reviewed, but not in depth for CALPADS admin. Has there been any additional conversations about the guidance? Our current SED system doesn't allow us to track this correctly, so we are hoping there has been more discussions. I thought that Marshall got the recording up.
He did. So it's on the CCS YouTube training channel. You can get there from the CCS homepage by clicking CCS YouTube on this icon here. And once you're on the CCS YouTube training channel, if you scroll down to the file submission redesign folder, Marshall has the 25-26 CalPADS data for students with disabilities in private schools playlist there, and that should contain the entire presentation from the SPED division.
As far as conversations about guidance for enrollments, I can say that the SPED office did ask me to review the, I know, gosh, I don't know how long it's been now. A couple of years, maybe several years, Brandy did a PowerPoint, a presentation on creating and maintaining SSIDs for students with disabilities. So they are working on revamping it and making updates. So I have no idea when that's coming, but I do know that they are working on it. So, moving on to Lydia, question 1. How do we code attendance for in-school suspension and the kid is absent for their in-suspension day? I would think that the absence would trump the in-school suspension, right? So instead of coding it as in-school suspension, you would just code whatever the absence was, illness or vacation, or I don't know. Because ultimately that would show as a student not being in school, versus if you do the in-school suspension, it would reflect as the student was actually in school, right? So I would say use whatever the absence code was. Anyone else have a different?
Nope, that's correct. When a student is assigned an in-school suspension but is absent from school on that day, you should record the day as a standard absence.
Awesome. You said it so much better, Gary. Thank you.
I read it.
You guys are so decisive this afternoon.
Ethan, question 1. Is it possible for an LEA admin to delete a CalPADS user entirely, or can they only be remove access to their LEA from them? Kyron was typing an answer. I don't know if Kyron, you wanted to say your answer? Oh, okay. Never mind. So I think the answer is you can't delete, right? You can't delete users. So the only option is to remove their roles or their org entirely.
Yeah, they can take out the LA from the user from the LA. However, I'm not sure if this is the go. This is an eventual result of the new what is the new usernames. So anyone who will not create a username will then be purged from CalPADS. I'm assuming that's the consequential effect of that move to the new username system. Yes.
Related to Flash 19?
Yeah.
Or 319?
319. Flash 19. Gosh, I don't know. We could even go back that far. Ethan, I see you have a question too, but I'm going to ask that you submit it as a brand new question, because once I click done on this, I won't see it anymore on my end. I'm going to move on to Emilio. Question 1. Good afternoon. Teacher coming from outside of California. Okay to count their total years of service at that LEA outside of California. Thanks. Yes. Jaime says total year in this LEA is for your LEA, and total years of educational service would be for grand total years. So out of state, etc. Yes.
Yeah. So the total service years is tied to their total amount of years while working credentialed, and that can be credentialed in any of the 50 states. They just need to be working as a teacher or working in the education institution with the appropriate credential.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Charlene's question 1. My CCE under online maintenance is acting funny. I see a list of CCE students under anomalies management, but when I try to open any one of them, nothing comes up but an empty box with a save review button appeared. Yes, so we had another LEA submit this as a ticket this morning, and we escalated that as a bug. So we're just waiting for the bug to be created, but yeah, not much more I can say on that, unfortunately. And unbelievable, but we are done with questions and moving on to question 2. Ethan says, would a CALPADS user with no LEA association still be able to access student data?
So my
Negative, right?
answer is no, since there won't be any organizations associated to the username and consequently no role assigned to it.
And we are done with questions for now. I'm going to wait for a bit in case people are typing more questions. Aha, Shelly, question 2. Once the new usernames are created, will users be able to update their email addresses? Last spring, our LEA went from k12.ca.us to org. I don't know, Angela, if you want to.
I think the answer is yes. I don't know that I've tested it. Shelly, you're part of our testing team though, right? If you want to try and see if it works, I think it's supposed to, which is a little awkward, but I think it's supposed to let you.
Awesome. Okay.
Be nice for when, yeah, I know you can change your name. So we get a lot of those tickets that we have, like if somebody gets married or divorced.
Eric's question 1. If you have an in-school suspension and the student is marked absent, would you have an issue with the stats and EOY suspension dates do not match the attendance reported? Oh, the stats. No, I believe because the numbers don't they don't have to tie in one-to-one, right? So if you say, and actually there's no validation that looks at the incident and expects there to be an attendance of in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension. It only works the inverse. So if you've told us in the stats that there was an in-school or out-of-school suspension, then we're expecting a discipline record that reflects that. And the reason why it doesn't work the other way is because you may have a suspension that happened just half of the day, right? And so because most of the times, the vast majority of staff is all day, we may have suspensions that occur, but that aren't reflected in the attendance. And so for that reason, we don't validate in that way. Did that make sense? Let me know if it didn't. I'll try explaining again. Angelina's question 1. I logged in late, so I may have missed something. Does the username have to be an email?
Everybody's going to have the same domain, so it'll be whatever you want in front of it. So mine's probably going to be aratty@calpads.org. So everybody will have that second half at calpads.org. I found Flash 19.
Oh, you did?
What was Flash 19,
What did we
Angela?
It's very traumatic reading it. These were the very bad times, and I know we have some old timers on the call that will remember these days. It was when we were working with IBM when CALPADS had just sort of launched and flopped a little bit.
A little bit.
And it was about, we're trying to stabilize things. We're regression testing the whole system. We're doing all this work. Please be patient.
What date was that?
March 26, 2010.
We've come a long way in 16 years and 300 flashes.
So yeah, those were traumatizing days for the service desk and for the users. Probably the developers and testers too.
Okay, I have a question from Quint. Question 1 says, based on the Q&A guidance, our understanding is that the adult education and preschool staff are not reported to CALPADS. However, if these staff members were reported in prior years, should we now add an end date to their CALPADS records, even though they are still employed with the district? And this is STEM 689 F2. Yeah, that would be the guidance, because even though, yes, they're technically still employed by you, they're still working there, CALPADS will still expect something if it sees that it's an open staff demographics in there. And so the only way for you to tell CalPADS, don't even look at this staff anymore, is to put in an employment end date. Terry says that was a long time ago, 2010. Yeah. Question 1 from Natasha says, regarding Flash 319, will the LEA admin be able to see the new usernames for all of their users?
Yes, and even more than that, we have a report in there that you can run to not only see all of their names, usernames, but whether or not they've converted to the new, because as an admin, you're going to have to tell your users that they have to go in and create their new username. And so it'll give you a list of who has and who has not converted yet.
Next, we have Shelly, question 3. I'm going to put this here so you will say it out loud in case users are not reading the chat. Does anyone use CitySpan for the LEAP file? I recently found out we are. So if you do use it, do you have any tips, tricks, or gotchas? So anyone out there using CitySpan for the LEAP file? I'm going to move on to Charlene's question 2. It says, will we be required to update the password every 90 days?
I don't know if it's every 90, but you will be required to reset it still. And then a reminder that when it first goes to production, it's not going to have the MFA enabled. So it'll just be, you'll get an email with your username and temp password, and then you'll go in and change your temp password to what you want your permanent password to be, or your interim password to be. And then when we turn the MFA on, I think that it's going to send you a code to your email. More to come on that. I think that's why the Flash is a little bit vague about phase 2.
Hey, Angela, in the chat box, Maria is saying in the staging environment, they're getting that insufficient privileges error.
Yeah, Marty only fixed it in UAT. Yeah, kind of long story, but.
Next, we have Ethan's question 3. Will I be able to receive email via username@calpads.org?
No, it'll go to whatever your account is right now, Ethan. So your legacy username is your email address, right? So when you convert over, it'll go to that email address.
Natasha's question 2 says, do we know which provider we will use for MFA?
But we're not going to do the cell phone one, at least in the short term, because that authenticator thing, we can't require you to have a cell phone. And also I think there's some laws about text messaging rates or something like that is what I vaguely heard. So I think it's just going to be email at first. Lots of questions about that.
Yeah.
And we're excited. We launched UAT this week, and so excited to see where that goes. The other big change that's coming, and I don't think it was in that flash, I just kind of scanned it quickly, is for you large LEAs that have to break up your large files, the split file functionality is coming along at the same time as the new username. And so you won't have to break up those large files. You just click a button and CalPADS will do it for you.
I don't believe that was in the flash.
It's a little teaser for the regionals.
But it is very exciting.
Like they question 1 regarding Flash 319, are we required to use a variation of our first and last name as a username, or can we just use our first name at calpads.org? Asking for a friend.
We can't enforce anything, but I think the guidance from CDE in terms of best practices is like first initial last name or first name underscore last name. So I think LEA admins, you got to start thinking about what advice you want to give to your users locally. Hopefully something professional.
We did have a user call dibs on Godzilla123 at the last Q&A.
Jan, question 1. tagging off Marie's comment, will the ability to create the new user accounts for our vendor logins be able to be done in the staging environment eventually?
Yes. Yes. And the answer is yes. I just don't know when. I think that fix that they did for UAT probably would be going on Friday is when we update staging. Just know that it's been tested by our testers, and then client services did some testing as well. And so it just hasn't been user accepted tested yet, Jan.
30 more minutes. Aha, Ethan. Question 4. Minimum character length for new account usernames. Can we reserve those super precious 3-character or less usernames for those of us on this call?
Let me see if it tells me that. Can we come back to me?
Yep.
Okay.
We have a question 2 from Angelina. Says, did you say we had to use the same style for all staff? First initial, last name, or other?
No, like I said, we can't enforce anything. We were just passing along the recommendations from the CDE in terms of best practices. And so as an admin, now is probably a good time to think about what you would like to encourage your users to format, what format they should use.
And Lori in chat looks like she found the first flash ever unnumbered.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, what did that say? Test? Did you get it? I'm going to move on to Rigoberto. Question 1 says, afternoon team. Follow up from Shelly's question 2 because we missed it. If our district emails are converting from one domain to another, will that affect the CALPADS authentication rollover? And is the username we select automatically going to have the @calpads.org domain added? I think the second question there, the username you select will automatically have the @calpads.org domain. It's that you have no option. It's just you're gonna just have that.
Yeah, the way it looks, it's like a little box that you can type in, but then it's read only that says out at calpads.org. And so that's the email you get converges those two things and that says this is your username, here's your temp password.
So the first question is, if the district is converting from one domain to another domain, will that affect the authentication rollover? And if I was understanding what you said previously correct, Angela, it sounds like anything that would be sent to the new username is sent to the email from your legacy login. And so you would want to make sure that the email that's associated, it uses that new domain so that you can still receive emails.
And I don't know if this is by design or a flaw, but I was able to create a username that just said a@calpads.org.
Was it A as in EH for Ethan?
A as in A? EH?
Just the letter A. I'll have to ask Heather about that when she gets back.
Great. Bring out a bit more, just in case there are questions being typed out. We are nearing the end of January, and yes, the next big thing is the Super Bowl. Any, I don't know, favorite dishes for Super Bowl that people have out there? See, when you don't ask me questions, I ask you questions.
I don't celebrate personally. That's the day I go to Trader Joe's because there's nobody there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Ethan, question 5. Sorry, earlier the answer seemed to be that yes, we would be able to edit the email address associated to a new account. The last answer seemed to say no. It would have to go to whatever your old current email or login is. Don't need an
Well-
answer now, but can we get an announcement once we know?
Sorry, I interrupted you. Definitely when you very first convert your account, it'll go to your existing legacy email address. The question is, once you've established your new account, can you change your email address? And I think the answer is yes, but we're going to look into it a little bit more and before we figure that out.
And the chat has a lot of the notifications on it. Too much for me to read through.
So I think I answered my question. I think the answer is no. It's grayed out. I logged in with my new account. And it's not letting me edit that email field. I can change my first, last phone number extension, and that's it.
So
And
you
Natasha,
preemptively answered
Yeah.
Natasha's question.
yeah, question 3 said, Angela, you're not saying the user could change the email address associated with their account, are you?
I thought I saw that at one point. Maybe it was a bug, but I apparently know that you can't change your email address, which kind of makes sense, right?
Chantel's question 1 says, is there a way to export my users to create a list?
I need to follow up on that, Chantel. Is it currently or in the new system? I guess the answer is
Currently?
both, right? It's Matt, if you wanted to navigate to admin user management. And under users and roles. And this is what I do if I'm trying to, if I wanted just a distinct row for everybody, because I think almost everybody's got the SCNR view role. So I just select that one. And then at the top there, move everybody over to the available users column.
Do you want me?
You did it backwards. For some reason it was set right. Move everybody over to the right column. There you go. And if you do a search and scroll down a little bit, we should have a new button that says export to CSV. That's currently, and it'll be something similar. I don't think you have to search first. The new way, I think the button is already there, and it has a few more fields on it, and that'll help the admins determine who has converted and who has not converted.
Okay, well,
Ethan says 2010 feels like just yesterday. Really, feels like a lifetime ago.
in the chat somewhere.
Yeah. Jaime says, was it written on papyrus? Just wondering. I had to use the Wayback Machine. I had to use the Wayback Machine to even find it, because even in our archives on SharePoint, we only went back to it. I think it started at Flash 26.
Yeah. It is crazy to me thinking, because to me, 2020 feels like it just happened 2 years ago. But it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
That's insane. All right. Well, if there are no other questions.
That's when you first started, right, Alex?
Yeah, that's why. Someone asked me, how long have you been working at CSIS? And I'm like, 2020. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, that can't be right. But yeah, I mean.
Did you see Ethan's comment? Athletes being drafted now were 12 when the pandemic started.
Oh, wow.
That's a wild thing to think about.
Oh, man.
Bavita has a comment. Says, not a question, but a comment. Thank you for switching on the end of year 1 and end of year 2 DDs. Very useful to correct data as we upload. Yes.
Agreed. Yes. We were looking forward to that getting enabled. And so what that means is there was all kinds of work in the back end, right? Because we did the hokey pokey on end of year, right? We merged 3 and 4 into 1 and 2. And so hopefully everything's pretty solid in there, but I won't be surprised if we have a couple bugs come out of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I went to my brother's, got his master's degree at San Jose State, and I went to his graduation a couple years ago, and I met a kid, and he was like, "Yeah, I graduated high school the year the pandemic started." I was like, "Wow, it's been 4 years already."
Yeah. I feel like 2020 warped my sense of time. It didn't count, right?
It's true.
Samantha, you said you have a question if you put it in the Q&A box.
Mm. And we
This
do
one.
have a question from Shelley. Oh, sorry, Marshall. Were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna point out there is a question.
It says LEAP is part of end of year 1, right? Yes, the new LEAP file will be part of the new end of year 1.
Marnie. She says I'm going to Rhea's graduation.
Yeah,
It
I
won't be
mean,
long. It won't be long.
so I mean, she can start TK in 2028.
Wow.
So that's crazy.
My grandkids are already graduating high school. It
Wow.
goes by fast.
I have CRSC 468 pulled up because of Samantha's question in the chat box, but I'm not
Oh,
seeing it in the Q&A. So can we just this
yes,
one time read it from the chat box?
I shall. Okay. Samantha says, I joined very late due to a training. I have a question about CRSE 0468 error that I am getting with the new 9701 state course code. Am I too late to ask? Not too late, just the wrong box, but it's okay. Let's see. 0468 saying invalid course group state and departmentalized court standards grade level range combination. Okay, so the document that you're going to want to pull up, and Matt has it up, is the valid code combo. In the valid code combo, we should have updated the tab that he's highlighting there, course group state, course and standard grade level range. So what I always recommend, and I think Matt already has done it, but on column H, make sure that you have filtered for NA because you just want to filter out everything else that has already been retired. And then as he did on column A, search for that code, that state course code that's giving you an error. In this case, 9701. And you'll see there are the 4 options, right? It's elementary, middle, secondary, and not applicable. And so the ends means that no, you cannot use this code, and the Y means yes, you can use it. And in this case, it looks like the only available code to use for 9701 is not applicable. So take a look at your courses in your SIS and make sure that that standards grade level range is equal to no, not applicable. Because I'm guessing that you're using secondary or middle or one of those other codes.
Just to add to that, to avoid the next error, make sure that the content standards is also set to not.
Yes, thank you. So there's that standards aligned. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So that other field goes hand in hand with the standards grade level range. If you're telling us that it has a standards, then you have to tell us if it's current or prior year standards. But if you're saying no standards, then you also have to say no in that standards aligned field. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Moving on. So Natasha has question 4. How do the user roles transition to the new end of year submissions? For example, a user who has access to end of year 2 and 4 reports, but not end of year 1 or 3, what access do they have in the new end of year breakdown?
Question. Karen, do you know the answer to that? I know you've been working on the user manual. I'm sure Heather mapped it all out, but I haven't seen that document.
So how the user roles transition to the new EOI submissions? I have not read the document yet, but I'm guessing everything would still. No, I haven't read the document. Sorry.
I think it would
So
require some nuance, right? Because if they
yeah.
only had EOI 3 roles, giving them all of the new EOI 1 roles wouldn't be appropriate because it would give them added access beyond what they had pre. Oh, Gary has his hand up.
Were you just saying hi, Gary?
Oh, I didn't think I had my hand up. I'm
Oh,
just holding
sorry. I
my
thought
head,
you
just
wanted to.
holding my head up.
I thought you had a light bulb. Sorry.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's a good question, Natasha. My nickname for the gal that's doing that work is Rube Goldberg because her brain is very intricate and makes all these amazing connections. And so I'm sure she's thought this out. The problem is it hasn't been published to our normal repository for system documentation yet because it's it's still kind of in the works. So I'd have to go digging for it, and she's not here today, so I can't ask her. But I think I will follow up with her on that because that's a very good question.
We have a question 3 from Charlene says, I've got a comment about MIDs. If we select other LEA under MID ownership, any MID existing will show our contact info, but it's the other LEA contact we need if we are to inform them. Good question. Maybe.
I think that other LEA means the other LEA has the focus ID.
Yeah.
And so once they are the focus ID, then of course it would show it would show your contact information, as they will be able to see by default the MID that they are responsible to fix.
I think for now, the best we can offer is our CISA's webpage where you can look up the other LEA, the LEA name, so at least you'd be able to. And Matt's showing you how to find CALPADS LEA contacts, and we have all the LEAs listed there and CELPAs. So if you're ever in
Also,
need.
if you download the report, I believe the report will also include the contact person of the other LEA on that MID report.
Even if they don't have the focus ID?
Yes, so just pick all of the, what report is that? One moment here.
11 point, no.
Oh, you know what? I lied. Sorry. um, if you pick all, no, I mean this would be a lot though, but if you pick all, then it would show both your contact information and their contact information. But yeah, but the ownership is more about who has the focus ID. So unfortunately, the alternative would be Alex's suggestion, which is to go to the CCC lookup page. Yes, my agent clone hallucinated per Jan's suggestion.
Alejandra's question 1 says, I'm trying to run end of year 8.1 for 23-24, but when I select LEA approved, it shows as not certified. Sorry if you already answered this question. I arrived late to the meeting. We have not answered that question yet. Is that one of the bugs that we have? I know that the reports weren't rendering any data for prior years, but I don't know if this is the same.
It looks like we have a fixed issue with 8.1.
I thought both of them were fixed.
Do we have anything inactive? We do.
No, actually, LA approved 8.1 is part of EOI 3. So it should be it needs a SELPA approval to be certified.
But for 23-24, they should have.
Oh.
they should have had the self-approval, right?
Yeah, 23, 24 already required a
Yeah.
self-approval at that time.
Oh, so you're saying if they select LEA approved, it won't show as certified because
Yeah,
it's not technically certified. You need to have
yes,
SELPA. You need to select the SELPA approved for it to show as certified.
yes.
That makes sense. Yes. Yeah, Alejandra, you won't be able to run it for end of year 3 because end of year 3 doesn't exist anymore. So it will show up under your end of year 1 reports, but when you select 23, 24, in order for it to show as a certified report, you need to select SELPA approve because
Oh,
LEA approval is not technically certified.
also, if you're looking at your certified reports, you have to, since we're transitioning to this new um, consolidation, go to your certified reports, certified section. That way, your snapshot is available for that year. Because if you go to the report section, the format, the structure has already changed. And so you won't be able to look at your prior old EY3 format.
Yeah, so go to the certification status screen and change the academic year drop down to 23, 24, and you'll find it.
Matt has something on the screen right now. I just want to let everyone know that we're going to be updating the report mapping guides because right now we still have them as under one EOY 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll be getting those updated so that they just show the right ones under what will be EOY 1 and 2.
Thank you, Gary.
And
Yes, sir.
I meant to say this in the announcements, but a huge congratulations to everyone for certifying Fall 1 and getting that done. We really appreciate everyone's hard work and it seems like you all did a fantastic job. So just wanted to say congratulations and thank you.
And everybody's certified by Friday night. This was the first time I didn't have to work on that weekend ever. So excellent.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I guess we should call it a day. And I want to thank everybody here for helping out and everyone out there helping us answer the questions. Really, really appreciate it. We'll see you here, same link, same time next week.